Okay, so today's topic, as we state as a recap, so the topic is based on my Johns Hopkins 6 weeks course regarding frontiers of AI in healthcare and digital health. So it was a 90 minute each week. We had a 90-minute intensive course content that actually based on my over 2 years deep dive involvement in the topic of AI in healthcare and digital health, and based on my 30 years experience in all kind of the technology. So the discourse actually the initially to targeting some of the general audience from among the Johns Hopkins alumni, but actually that based on the participant, they are almost uh, expert in some way, and then some of the professionals already are doctors and faculty members, and then executive in uh, the health tech and life science company. So I changed my topic more deeper level to targeting more professionals rather than general audience. So that was very good to me because I can share that compared to other kind of I know that there are several other many different type of the similar kind of title topics provided in usually in the universities. But the difference, this topic is that this is most up to date, and I intensely involve myself in innovation of these topics. So I share many of the new topics actually that you cannot see in just in the knowledge base, rather than I show my experience that actually involve in innovation process. So the content is very uh, deeper level and was a very extended topic. So it the contents the slide is over 400 around 60 pages. So issues. So I'm just to give you a snapshot, the most important part, and then later, if you leave your email in the chat, and I will send this slide copy, and then you will look at it later. Okay, so as you see that we cover every week based on that I just elaborate the covers that almost all topic relate to this title. So the first 2 weeks I focus on AI in healthcare, and especially I'm very expertise in AI as in general, not just in the healthcare. I've experienced in different industry AI applications. So based on my understanding and knowledge, I just show the holistic kind of like a view of AI. And then I just provide how AI in healthcare means. And then with that deep dive into kind of like what kind of potential applications available and in the real world use case. And then I show live with multi-agent AI system demos that I develop. And week 3 and week 4 focus on digital health. So I cover that the first part is about what is a wearable kind of digital health wellness and the medical device, what's the difference? And then I cover the remote patient monitoring or therapeutic monitoring type. And so telehealth and hospital at home is the most up-to-date application of digital health in the clinical level and then in the generally the personal level, it's the patient level. And then I focus on uh, digital therapeutics. So I share my I just drafted more than 200 pages of a book about this topic, and then I published a book chapter. So I share my book's copy and then introduce in a short time, like in a 90 minute, actually cover all aspects of the digital therapeutics. I have a very intensive experience developing all different aspects of the digital therapeutics. And then I show in the week five, the in general what's the challenges, accountability, usually kind of like a liability issue with this kind of like new technology adopted in hospital or other kind of healthcare environment. And then something long happened, then who will be liable kind of thing. And then also like I'm a patent attorney. And so I have an intensive experience in intellectual property area. So I share my experience in IP mode in healthcare, in AI, and digital health. And finally, I provide the future of AI in healthcare in digital health. That actually that this is the most up to date that innovation I involve, particularly decentralized innovative AI agent in healthcare is very recent topic that also I have a opportunity to join this community that organized by the MIT Media Lab. And I developed several type of the new idea about this, the Internet of AI agent in healthcare. So I share my true innovation the, in here. And also like agentic AI for the healthcare financing. So what kind of like a new paradigm can be possible in the financing in healthcare area? Actually, this topic will be, I will share, I'm going to organize a further advanced topic next week. So I will introduce my webinar. I have two webinar in next week in a back and back. So I've introduced my topic about how to finance healthcare innovation. And then I talk about very futuristic concept of the consumer healthcare paradigm that actually that all the like the currently there is a differentiate between the medical grade and then well-being grade, and that there was some debate about it, and then who provide the guarantee that they're safe and effective or something like that. And then I just to provide in the future that because of the advance in AI, they can provide some way actually the kind of like integrate like clinical trial and FDA clearance and then more the fast track so that actually that nearly zero cost kind of like a verification so that there will be blurring between the whether it's a well-being product or a consumer product that actually I coined the term the consumer healthcare paradigm. Okay, so as you see, this is very intensive topic, so I cannot cover in a short time. But I'm going to share this slide so you can study or whatever. Then maybe if you have something to discuss with me, then you can contact me later. Okay, so the first one, I want to go into detail, but I'm just show that guideline that if you want to study this topic for the first time, or you look at it, and then I want to give you the consistent view of this topic. Okay, so it will guide you because it's a coursework. So I just guide you to the participant, the student to how to learn this one. So I just provide what is AI and core concept. So I think that the here is the thing that I developed. So this is my own work. Actually, this is a long history that I share because I developed this one during COVID-19. And then before COVID-19, I have a very active kind of like a tech innovation and commercialization business. And then it is integrated with some of the university technology in big data, healthcare, and other kind of like a cyber security or like high tech, deep tech technology. And then bring the seed innovation, and then I just commercialize them, and then I have a international collaboration and develop and commercialize that. And suddenly there was a COVID-19, so all of my tasks stopped. So for over that like more than 2 years, I just think of what's the best time, what would be the best time to me that spend this COVID-19 most valuably. So At the time, just I decided I want learn, very, very deep level of AI. So after 2 years or 3 years after COVID-19, I will became one of the global like expert in AI. That's I plan. So at the time, I intensively before that's before ChatGPT. So this what I can do was actually I manually search all the literature books in relate to AI, and then I just read it and then summarize it all manually. Right. So after I found that I can be done using my ChatGPT using agentic AI. This can be done in an hour, but I spent several years. Anyway, so this is one summarize that what you can think about systematically what is AI, and when you think about you applying you developing your own innovation, what kind of like a framework you can apply. So I just give you some good kind of like guideline frameworks to leverage this framework. So and then I just give you some. This is another one that actually that at the time. So I just want to see that most intensive what kind of like AI algorithm available at the time. That I just look at all the algorithm I studied them, and then just made this chart in just one page. But I spent a lot of time, so I just share this one, and then I give you some general thing. And then real world application. So I give you, I just to refer the, at the time most most like the up to date one was at the time was the EU Commission's year 2025 study confirms that it can reduce. So I just introduce and then summarize based on this. So I provide this information to my student, and then and I ask them to look at it, and then actually I provide also handouts, so reading list, and they have a bunch of the reading list that they can study for themselves. And then I give you that in like a grouping, for example, AI and medical imaging. And I introduced the recent like FDA activities, like FDA provided some information about the like a 1200 FDA cleared device they call AI ML enabled, like FDA artificial AI enabled medical devices. So it's a quarter two. So it at the time there was about I think that the list about was 1200 listed kind of product, and then they provide all detail about the so and they categorize them, and then what the application looks like. So I just shared this one, and then I shared the AI and pathology and genomics. And then I show my own innovation that I try that if AI, genomics, and biosensors for precision longevity. Actually, I recently, like with this longevity, the this week is a Boston Longevity Week, so that I located. So I attended several up to now, and then I'm going to have a tonight, I'm going to join another longevity event, innovation event in tonight. So, and then I summarize everything I have in like a participate, and then I share in my LinkedIn. This is the yesterday actually I was in some pitch contest from South Korean the biopharma startup, and then one startup provide some keys that the whatever your the most like a significant thing will happen in 30 years, right? And his answer was aging. So also like longevity is one of the hot topic in healthcare and life sciences. And then I luckily I located in Boston, and then I attended several very important events about longevity innovation. Okay, so and then AI and clinical documentation and decision support, and also I share my own work, and I share the demo, so you can look at it in demo video link I share, and the patient engagement triage, And then I show my own innovation. I patent pending my innovation about the mental health, and then AI in drug discovery and clinical trials. And then I show that uh, show some kind of like a multi-agent kind like things you can do. So actually, I show my demo, live demo for this one, and then I show that what is multi-AI agent systems looks like. And then I show the hospital operation workflow in AI. And then I show that my webinar about like how they can be working the managing hospital innovation. So kind of like a clinical research innovation and then licensing of the healthcare innovation and sustainability issue that we can resolve. And then AI in population and public health stuff. And then I show that there are some interactive, I actually teach my student about how to use ChatGPT to in the prompt engineering to their own healthcare kind of like research or other kind of things that can support it from ChatGPT. So okay, that was the first week. And second week, and I just look at the AI agent, agentic AI. So I'm very expertise in this space, and this is currently my focus. So I share my most up to date. So I just give you what is agentic AI, and what is there in healthcare, and I give the brief concept. So basically, what the AI agent is the key function and features you should remember is a perception. They know or they try to understand users' intent, the environment, the circumstance, whatever, and then based on that perception, they try to understand what's going on and what is the user's intent, what the user want, and then they think about it, right? Like a human reasoning, and then based on their reasoning, if they need like some support, they can use memory, they can use tools, right? And then after actually the iterative way, actually they can process something inside and then share through the act, and then contact interact with the human through this kind of interaction, and they learn repeatedly. They call self-learning. So this is a basic concept that I always use design and developing my own agentic AI. So I show them the what is the key component here, and then potential application that I show that you can look at it later, right? So actually, the this one I have a more intensive the maybe reference. You can look at it. So I show that where you can download my focus on agentic AI in healthcare. So it's several hundred pages focus on this topic. So you can download it. So, and I show my own work, and then I share that my insight about what's the adoption, right? Uh, because it's the same thing like the AI, and then further that AI and healthcare, and then agentic AI is most advanced one, so they are powerful, but also like a least because they are new technology and they are testing not in the healthcare, not just in healthcare, but in all vertical. And then you may note that recently there was a kind of like a read by the Sam Hartman in OpenAI that he wanna focus on his business also in agentic AI, and then he included in ChatGPT about agentic function. Uh, so, uh, so this space is, to my understanding, that I just look at the what the actual implementation, and then what can be done, and then I did a lot of my own expert kind of like evaluation, kind of like what if we can implement or not. So technically, all things can be feasible, right? So starting from the like a healthcare operation system and then move into like a passive way to like a supporting administration workflow, and then more global like a decision supporting system supporting the healthcare like practitioners, and then also like the diagnostics and treatments where it's a more high risk area directly relate to patient treatment, something like that. And then it can be done, to my understanding and my experience. But actual implementation is another story because this is a healthcare, so it's related to human health. So there is some kind of like a migration of the technology advance and then usefulness, and so like adoption through the healthcare system will be in a three type of the kind of stakeholders will be competing each other, and then who might be the like advanced more and something like a benefit and cost model, something like that. But anyway, because technically a lot of the application feasible, but in reality we need a lot of time to adopt. Right, that's one the current situation. And that I introduced a real application. So you will see more in my shared the reference that I will introduce later. Okay, so and this is some business one that I just did, and I show my own innovation and then demos, and I show some live demos, and then I show my own innovation and then demos like that. Okay, and then week three, I focus on digital health. So the first part that I show was to in general introduction. So here will be the good summary, right? Because AI models to infrastructure modern care like a digital health. So the kind of like what is kind of like a wearable digital health devices, remote patient monitoring, telehealth, DTX, diagnostic, many different types of things you can think about it, right? So here is one that I'll show you that what is the digital health. I show you some kind of like a category of that, and then what is the digital health landscape. So here is a consumer wellness and the lifestyle prevention has to like pivot overcome like a headspace, something like that, and diagnostic monitoring and clinical support and telehealth. And then so I look at the like a therapeutic intervention like digital therapeutics. So here is I just the from the reference about kind of like a more extended view of the digital health cover, right? But many of the here is a traditional healthcare, they call healthcare IT system or health well-being product. And most of the thing that I just categorize digital health is monitoring, care support, diagnostics, and digital therapeutics. And well-being is the another one, right? Okay, so and then I share my own analysis because I was very curious about what the current state of the innovation is. So I look at the about the 500 global startups, and then I look at individual company in a very different level. I look at their like a general business model and their innovation, the technology, even patent, and their executives and their like fundraising, and then I look at their kind of like a product and also the current state of the like clinical trials, FDA clearance, and then reimbursement capability or something like that. So I just look at the individual company in deep dive every aspect of the startup for 500 companies, more than 1 year. I look at it. And then I just evaluate them, and I develop my agentic AI, the how to evaluate their products, the company, something like that, and then I just evaluate them. And then I just compare with like the continuum of kind of like digital has products starting from the web in general webbing product in the most advanced like digital therapeutic device, and then what is the clinical trials and what is the FDA clearance required, something like that, and then reimbursement kind of like stuff. So I share the consumer devices, and then recently that here's one thing that I want to share with you is that recently there was some debate about like for example initially because usually that when you develop a product and you self-declare that your intended use is not for the medical thing, right? So the medical things mean that is FDA, for example, FDA defined what is a medical device. So medical device is doing medical function, and then they define what kind of medical function include, right? And then they disclaim that we are general welding product. We just measure your pulse, sensing your like the blood pressure, something like that, right? And they call like a wearable device and general welding product. But the problem is that because it's not the problem, but actually there is innovation in AI. So even if you have a kind of like a passive way to detect some bio kind of like signals, right? Is with a heart rate or is kind of like other like a temperature or whatever, right? And then AI is function very well, right? They are very intelligent, so their insight they provide even pro initially intended as a, like a general waving product just measure some biosignals, right? But the AI can interpret it and provide like a medical grade or something. So so that's happened. And then so recent trend is that the traditional webbing product kind of like producers like Apple, Samsung, they now started to the pathway through the compliance. So many of, not many actually, some of the product already have FDA clearance and listed in the list. So that's trend. And then some company actually, the FDA found that actually you declare as a webbing product, you don't have any like FDA clearance or clinical trials, but based on our criteria, your function as a medical grade device. So you need to be FDA clear, either FDA cleared or you cannot sell your product, right? So it happened. So that's one as issue with the wireless device. This will be the for the time being that as personally I'm interested in that I have resolved this problem and then I just develop several type of the innovation that how to integrate all this pathway because the reason that I discussed with many of the like startup founders they choose this wireless device pathway because of the cost time to market because clinical trials and FDA clearance require a lot of time and cost. And so also like even with that, if you don't have any kind of like, for example, the market environment, right? Because it's no like a marketplace. Then actually actually we witnessed several like frontiers in pioneers in this enterprise company actually bankrupt because of the situation. So they want to just directly contact the consumers and then they want to have some their prove their effectiveness through the market, right? So that was some debate, and then I was a very funny things with this one, but anyway, um, so future direction that I mentioned that there will be somewhere it will be like broadening between the welding product and then medical grade product, and there will be some overlay within. And then I want to resolve something utilizing agentic AI. That was my one of my innovation. Okay, then I show my own. And I also like many other kind of things that I share. For example, this is one. I'm also like I'm very expertise in telecommunication area. So especially the 5G advanced and the 6G, the current state of mobile communication, and they will interact with a lot of the healthcare system because they are the communication network, right? Because a lot of data through this network, so there will be some innovation we integrate with them. So I share this one, and then remote patient monitoring. I share it, and then I show that the what the current state of the CMS code, whether you can reimbursable, RPM, RTM, and then I just to show some what if the AI for RPM. And other stuff, like I mentioned, that look at the particularity space, what the innovation and startup space. I did the same thing and I evaluate them. I introduced my yellow actually. I intended to have this digital health like innovation community to share my insight about what the current state of are. And then I just decided not to do because of I got a poor response from this. And then I really disappointed with this kind of like, I think that I better than I don't share this one. So anyway, so telehealth, and I show that. And then I show that I have a bunch of the different type of the book to be try to publish, but I just sort of disappointed the response from those community. I just decided not to do. And I introduced a very, very innovative idea about what kind of like new type of innovation is happening in this space. So you can look at it later. And then I'm very expertise in extended reality, virtual reality, something like that. I've spent several years when there was, for example, there was one time actually that Mark Zuckerberg, he changes his company from Facebook to kind of like Meta because of the at the time he just derived the consumer level metaverse. The metaverse is the kind of the embedded like kind of like a reality that utilizing this kind of like extended reality device. So there is a blurring between real space and virtual space. Something like that. I tried that, and then just it suddenly, and then he just uh, actually the stop everything Apple, and then recently he changes he want to develop a super intelligence right something like that. Anyway, so at the time there was a boom globally. I was working with this space for several years, so I'm very expertise in XR. And so that actually though for me to very easy to apply my expertise in AR to healthcare, and then ironically the consumer like initiative gone, and I found that XR showed a new frontier is in healthcare. So for me, it was very good news to me. But anyway, and I show the whole scope here. Okay, so and then I show that this is sort of a deep dive. So I just share my I will if you leave your email in chat, and I will share also my non-published. I think about I've tried to publish, but I couldn't find the good price. So during the time actually I published another book chapter, so I will share later when it's published. Actually, it's going to be published in a week. So but I share my intensive work that actually drafted this book, and then I share this. So I will share that one. So you look at it in the very deep level of what the current state of innovation, particularly utilizing AI and XR technology in digital therapeutics, all different type of the kind of like things. So I show that what is the DTX, and then they target health condition, nearly all aspects of the disorders and disease. So mental health and then chronic disease, cognitive health, and the pain management, and kind of like developmental disorder, autism, ADHD, and malpractice, like adaptive kind of thing, and addictive thing, and then neurological health, and health condition, and orthopedic care, and the rehabilitation kind of thing. And the funny thing is that because I'm not a healthcare expert by sense. I don't have any like formal education in healthcare, something like that. I've been 30 years. My background is a PhD in physics, and then I've been 30 years in high tech. So almost my understanding of the deeper level, kind of like a biomedy, is none. So, but actually, through this like a process, actually, that started to understand, even if it is not the deeper level like a medical doctors, I try to understand all different type of the disease and disorders. And then I just gave a recently. Then I'm not a good TV because I wasn't like welcomed by this community that I showed a lot of my new innovation things, but I couldn't have any good positive like reply from this community. So I just recently I changed my focus to different area that I focus on recently. But the funny thing is because I published several book chapters and something like that, and then some of the most in this kind of like that the expert in this space is that they call like one of the like respectable journal contact me. They invite me to write a paper about some topic. So and then I rejected because I'm not interested in this topic anymore. Okay, so I share this one, everything. So I will share my book draft. So you will look at it later. And I share my book chapters. And also I share that not just the disease therapeutics, actually I just provide all kind of healthcare XR applications. So as I mentioned, I have expertise in XR, so looking at the different type of the healthcare application was not difficult to me. So I summarize everything that that share the in a summarize. And then future direction. Okay, so this is one actually that I I try to do because of the that I mentioned that there was some systematically, even if you have a technology and well innovated, actually if there is no marketplace, actually the you cannot actually the success, right? I witnessed several like digital pioneers, actually even IPO, they could not find the market because of the one thing is that the adopting as a healthcare system they need to be included in the healthcare workflow, right? So for example, that you develop the DTX as to be used as a prescription drug, and then doctors can know about your product exists, and then doctor know about what the function and then what the value to their patient. And then, for example, it's a depression DTX, and then the mental screening know about this DTX ad, and then it should be included in the healthcare system. Means that for example, you have a subscription drug, and then it should be included in the EHR system, and that there is a formulary. So that in the doctor's desk, you have a portal actually that you found that you diagnose the patient as depression, and look at the provide like a list of the depression drug prescribed, right? And they automatically link with healthcare system, and then they patient they want to have this one product, this drug in the pharmacy they prepare, and then they provide them actually they automatically in the like for example there is a revenue cycle management system that they connect automatically to the payers, so reimburse or something like this. So this is the one thing that you need to be included in this kind of healthcare workflow, right? Well, otherwise there is no actually the doctor even know that some of the digital therapeutic product is very good, right? They cannot prescribe, they cannot use it. So I tried to develop with some. I have a collaborator, so we developed this one and then try to get the sponsor because this is multi stakeholders involved. We could not success. So I just I gave up to do this. Maybe sometime later somebody can do, right? So one of the things that rate this one that I shared that at the time recently that Samsung Electronics acquired some company and startup actually that they want to do similar one, right? So maybe that's why I'm interested in the webbing product and medical product, and then in the between that actually the big company like a Samsung or the Google has or something like that, they drive this one. They can be integrated. They have a power compared to me, right? So even if I have I one of the my understanding in that I have a lot of the innovation done this kind of thing in different area, and whenever done, I was welcome. And then I have a lot of sponsors doing that. That's when I continue my innovation for 30 years. But in healthcare, it's difficult, and I found that even if I have a good innovation, something like that, I cannot drive in healthcare because of this kind of like multi-stakeholders, different kind of like environments involved. So that's why I recently I changed my focus to in a completely different area. Okay, so and then I show that the idea how to actually include DTX as a formulary kind of thing. So, and then I develop how you actually evaluate. So I just share my thing, and actually I just analyze the whole different type of the product utilizing my agentic AI powered evaluation tool, something like that. Okay, and then Okay, so in the week of five, we just touch upon what is the challenges, accountability, policy, I promote healthcare, and is a kind of thing. And then I share that what is the technical, ethical challenge in healthcare and digital health. Actually, this is one actually the funny thing is that whenever I have a webinar, kind of like for this kind of topic, all of the question, include one question is all everyone just to say that what is a challenge, what is a limitation or something like that. Ethnical challenges, hallucination, and other thing, bias, whatever, right? So I just include that. Actually, I'm not interested in personally this kind of thing. A lot of people, this is natural. Like in technology, you need to overcome this kind of thing. But anyway, so I just systematically provide what is the data bias and fairness and hallucination and reliability and explainability and breakfast problem, something like that. And in addition to, actually, I show that beyond the explainable AI, that the most up to date is a casual AI. It's a casual AI is more than the explainability, right? Explainability means that you have an outcome, then they just explain how you get the outcome, right? But the casual AI is not. You get the some kind of for example, insight, right? Because you got the something like a diagnosis that actually that you have some disease, and then the casual AI doing is that what is the origin of the disease, right? So it's a casual relation between the outcome and then cause. So it's the most advanced one, as far as I know, that the most of the big tech company or the most promising AI kind of the research institutions try to generalize this concept to be as a commercial level. Whereas as far as I know, it is still under kind of like a lot of the R&D process. So I tried to introduce this most up-to-date concept in healthcare, especially for the precision medicine and then show the myoanalysis and then I was supposed to allow the article in the Medium, and I found that this article is the most read. So I think there's a lot of people are interested in this topic. And then also I try to develop my own that assume that this casual AI is working. And then if they are the at the level that actually they can apply to real life analysis enable, then I just develop my own based on that AI, casual AI is working. And then how what kind of the precision medicine application is enabled utilizing this technology. So I just give the concept of this. And then liability issues, who is liable? And then I show that everyone stakeholder liable, then how you overcome this one, so you can look at it later. And then some compliance and like a GDPR, and then HIPAA, and then also how you get the governance and then policy direction or something like that. And then I just show off the FDA terms like SM, what is SND, and what is the enabled medical device. So I thought have you to, for regulatory framework, what is like a general AI enabled medical device regulatory framework, and then most of activity is done by the FDA. So I show that all the regulatory matters in here. And then I show that the IP, so the what should be the IP strategy. I show some recent debate about the healthcare wearable device, and then they actually the Oura Ring actually the protect their market from the like a copier using their IP. So I show that the importance of the IP as I'm patent attorney. So I work with the several startup filing their patent. Okay, and finally that I share the future. So I share the decentralized AI agent healthcare, and then I show my two example innovation that I show that I submit in the MIT Media Labs decentralized AI summit, and I show some introduction, but this is a very conceptual because a lot of innovation is still going on, and this is one actually that I show the demo so you can look at it, what kind of application you can have it. and then financing frameworks, and I will show introduce that this framework, and the consumer things, and then in the future that there is a borrowing, and then there is a like a integration with the webbing product space and the general webbing plus medical device. And then what I'm thinking about is tens of $1 trillion new healthcare market will be the dominant player will be different. So it was I share that in the future. So based on my experience of I like my student because they was very active, and then the case of lunchtime is but everyone attended, and then they share their insight after my coursework. So I like this one, and then I propose another course next spring. So they operating every kind of like a spring fall. So the next spring that I propose is to developing agentic AI co-pilot framework for health AI native healthcare profession. So I shared that I just how to utilizing because a lot of people I show the demo and they are very interested in how I did. So I want to share that my know-how that supporting other people to developing their own agentic AI co-pilot. So whatever they have expertise on specific healthcare area, my understanding, if they can be formalized it, right, to understand AI, and then I can teach them the prompt engineering. They can develop their digital twin of their expert, right? So that was my idea, and then I extended this view, not healthcare. I'm doing other area that I found that they can be extended in any area for the expert. But this semester actually I'm going to focus on healthcare, and then I show that the hands-on class. So if you're interested, you can attend this one. And then this class is 25 minutes. So for example, I just posted this one in my LinkedIn. There was about 2,000 expressed their interest, and then only at the time the limitation was a 15, so only 15 can attend. And this is a 25. So I'm not sure whether Johnson can accept or not, but I'm sure that they will accept because I was a successful in the first class. So this one, and then as I mentioned, that the financing is a very important topic. So as I mentioned, I switches from individual innovation of the healthcare side, and then I just changed my mind that rather than doing that, actually, I want to be like supporting healthcare system environment, like ecosystem. So, for example, financing, strategic partnership, something like that, right? So supporting this industry, that's I shifted. So that's why that's the way actually like welcome because I'm not deeply involving their own area, like as mentioned, therapeutics, doctors, right? And pharmaceutical, like pharmacists or whatever. So I just shifted my interest to applying agentic AI in supporting this healthcare system, like to supporting this innovation environment, innovation fancy like I mentioned, like supporting innovation licensing, with supporting financing, supporting investment, and supporting partnership, something like that. That's my future topics that I focus on. So if you're interested, you can attend it. And this is a topic that I focus on and that I shifted my the focus area to supporting. Okay. And then if you're interested in do more agentic AI, then I have an opportunity to give a talk and listen to Google Developer Group's talk, and then I just posted is several hundred pages of all focus on agentic AI in healthcare. So if you're interested in, and then you can look at it. Okay, so thank you. So please leave an email so I can send you the copy. And is there anything you want to share or there any question that we have 10 minutes to have we can have some discuss about the topic or whatever share. I welcome. Oh, Jim. Yeah, welcome. He's one of my greatest student.
Right. So yeah, you covered an awful lot. So I'm sure I'd be able to do 5 careers now for the rest of my life with everything you covered. What's interesting to me You hit a lot of important things that I need to follow up on. Having said that, I do want to try to go out and build a few things. The bigger thing, the one thing that hits over and over again, I did a session on trusted AI, and I was really focused around what I call identity, verifiable credentials, all that kind of stuff. And you can use it everywhere, obviously. But the bigger thing, there are two things that stick out to me that are not hit well. Number one, is I had architected something called a dynamic governance service, if you will, as a service. So the question is, and really your example of causal AI. So you get to the point, you say, okay, we've got all these great devices, we're collecting all these data on Jim, and we could now say, hey, talk to the causal agent and say, what do you think Jim should do next, given his situation? The real issue, as you know, with agentic AI or any of it is how can you verify the output every time? So it's not a matter of just doing the trust part that I always talk about. Is this a credentialed LLM? Is the, data that it's using, all that? Forget all that. It's really no saying it's the causal agent is coming up with judgments. So what is the concept on how to verify the accuracy of those judgments? And so there's the concept of criticality, right? So if I say to you, what do I need to do to prepare to go out and take a 5 mile walk? That's not a critical thing. And so you don't need something that's highly accurate. But if I have some sort of a cancer diagnosis and I'm at stage 4, whatever I do next is highly critical. And so the output of that decision would need to be something that's highly verifiable. Do you know what I mean? So that's a big problem I would throw out there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I,
And
I,
so you're
I
good at
do.
catch. The thing I like about you, you catch problems really well.
Hmm.
You might take an hour, but I'll say by the second hour, you're usually throwing the ball back and saying,
Hmm.
"Hey, here's Alex's idea on how
Yeah,
to solve that problem." But I think it's that concept. So my simple thought was we might get to a point where you have what I call the same inputs, but kind of like when you go to a doctor and get a cancer diagnosis, and you say, "Well, I don't
mm,
like that diagnosis. I'll go see another one." Maybe the idea is you have independent causal agents who are all looking at the same data and then
mm,
having to reach consensus somehow on
yeah,
what the recommendation is.
yes, 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 yes.
Anyway, that's my only thought to throw a ball at you for something else to
Oh
do.
yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. Like you know, the thing that the thing with this one actually that I share that my experience because for this topic is somebody contact me, right, about 1 years ago, maybe more than 1 year or something like that, and then he expressed that he need my help, and then he shared his idea, right, and then he introduced someone that I know, right, 'cause he's a very respected innovator in Boston area. And then I know him, so I trust him. But I'm not. He was the like a business person, right? And then I look at the space, and then I found that there are a lot of things can be done. So I proposed my idea, and I asked about like and I also proposed IP space or something like that. And then suddenly that I found that whether they asked me to like have the fundraising, and then I share some pitch deck, and then I found that there was something wrong with this one. And then I trust the scientist, right? Because but I don't trust the person because of there are a lot of things are hidden, right? And then a lot of things are not enable, right? So I test myself. That's why I just find out my own innovation. And then actually my son-in-law in expert in this space. So I asked my son-in-law, are you interested in this topic? And then we come up with a new idea and then apply that idea to casual AI to in precision medicine in a completely transparent way, and then we find a pattern. But I forgot about it because, as you mentioned, it's very fundamental topics to be dealing with. And then I have no situation that actually that I have anything like I'm not academic or whether thing I'm just a consultant, and then I living my through the consulting and IP and something like that. So I don't have anything to research this. I just completely kind of like gave up that I've continued that topic. Right. And then I recently And then I want to share that because I think that this is really, really important topic, right? Because I just look at the not just in healthcare, but actually in general that the future of AI, this is casual AI, one of the big topic. And then I look at what the innovation state, and then it's still going on. And the funny thing actually so that's what I share with in my course that I want to let other people know about this topic, very important topic. Not many people except they are hard deep tech company like Microsoft. I know that they have a special the develop team, and then I know about a lot of big AI companies they have expert to research this topic. So I just let other people know this through my course. But recently, there was funny thing was that this is space also like a lot of the something long happens like for on honest people kind of like propose. Maybe I'm not sure because I don't want to judge. But like I mentioned, there's a lot of the issues to be tackling, and then a lot of people just like for example the request grant and unrealizable things that they just made it propose it something like that, right? So Jim, I thank you for this kind of topic you raised about it, but unfortunately and even like recently I was recently from South Korea. In the South Korea they have like a White House. There's a Blue House. Is the presidential office in South Korea. They have like a head of the AI innovation. So he's kind of like a step to the senior step to the president, and then his expertise in AI. And then he proposed that South Korea one of the leader in the casual AI. And then there was a lot of the call to proposal, right? And then I found a lot of people say that is not true. So I'm very suspect about what the current state. But as you mentioned, that there are many things actually that need to be carefully approached this space. But anyway, thank you for your insight.
Yeah, it's a very challenging space, and you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Ultimately, it's a lot more than healthcare, obviously, but the whole
right.
concept of, I'll call it smart governance on AI is going to be a critical thing going forward.
Yeah, so because if you look at my kind of like in the I have a casual AI, my own innovation. I just made a demo. So in that demo, I just assumed that casual AI part is working. So I didn't develop.
Nice.
And then based on assumption that I try to solve the most difficult problem in healthcare, they working fantastically. They can even provide a cure for the pancreas cancer, most
Yep.
incurable cancer, right? So that's why, oh, wow. So if really casual AI is working, right, trustable, all kind of like the on kind of like unsolvable problem has can be solved. But that part, my assumption. So,
Yeah, you're right. Well, and actually that's the difference is I don't assume any of that. So you've heard of zero trust architecture, right? Which
yeah.
is all on the security side, talking about different trust models and how you can't trust anything, how it all has to be dynamically verifiable
Mhm,
uh, to root trust authorities. Fine.
mhm,
I have something different called a new architecture called zero faith architecture,
mhm,
which isn't about the trust side, it's about the operation side. So, best example is look at AWS, right?
mhm,
The most powerful cloud provider on the planet crashed again,
mhm.
and significantly with significant impact. And so
Yeah,
the question that comes up is, can you trust them? And the zero faith architecture says, no, you don't trust any of that stuff. And the
right.
argument is, and this is what really matters, there's criticality of the usage side for a given use case. How critical is the right answer?
Mhm,
And that determines everything about how much you're going to invest in the solution. You know what I mean? So the concept of, I'll call it quality of service, but criticality of consumption on the other side, those two things,
mhm,
put them together, they're the thing that should be driving all the rest of this from I'll call it an efficiency and a cost perspective.
mhm. Yeah, because even zero trust, for example, that I affected by the recent cross with AWS because of the AWS link with Amazon. right? My
Yep.
Amazon, I tried to search some product on a like early morning, and then my Amazon working on behavior, its behavior was not correct, and then I asked my my daughter that actually the look at your Amazon is working, and then she found the same problem. So oh, it's just old problem the Amazon, and look at the I asked ChatGPT that what the current state of the problem with Amazon, he could not find anything real time warning and anything, right? And then later I found that it was related to AWS. Uh, so uh, and then whether I'm trust Amazon or not, right? But by the way, because I need to depend on, right? Because I need to be in everyday life. So that's a matter of the like risky factor and the benefit, right? So
Yep.
yeah, that's one actually that I cannot trust anything but even just trust like because the cost involved, right? So
Yep.
okay,
Yeah. So
so
you're right.
anyone?
It's a scary thing anyway. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You know, like recently, the I have a lot of working in the LinkedIn, and then LinkedIn also have a lot of the mistake, right? 'Cause recently, they just suspended my account because of they found the unrealistic behavior in my side. I never done anything, so AI found that something that actually not happen, and then without any my consent, actually, that they suspended my account until I just have some action, right? So I just really kind of like worry thing. That's why that I mentioned that technically enable all kind of agentic AI in healthcare spectrum, but in reality, right, is a risk measures and adoption kind of thing. That's why that healthcare is a somewhat weird animal that I could not experience in other innovation in other industries. So that's why that I shifted my strategy to how actually to survive in this space and contribute to my innovation. Anyway,
Yep. No,
Randy,
it's a good
and he's
focus.
one of the people actually that help me to he understand that I try to survive in Haskell area.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree with
yeah,
you 100%.
yeah.
I have the same problem sometimes on LinkedIn
Hmm.
with just people trying to spam me or even trying to like offer me monetary funds to actually use my LinkedIn profile,
Hmm.
which I think is like, horrendous. But I also realize this is how, the future of the internet is, that there's going to be a lot of people trying to take advantage of, other people for some reason. Usually it's financial,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
luckily
great
I'm
point.
aware of it,
Yeah,
because it
great
is
point, Randy. If it's financial, I just say, I need money. Can you send me some? And then I'll never hear from him again. That pretty much shuts
exactly,
down that conversation.
exactly, yeah. I just had a
Anyway,
thought though, Alex, about like what are your thoughts on like creative AI working with causal AI and making like AI systems more synergistic in the future?
yeah. You know that
What
because the my currently that if my the 2 years endeavor in healthcare actually my future vision that I posted in my LinkedIn profile, I really want to be make AI as your co-filer, your friend, right? That's what
sure.
I'm extending my idea that I just have that so in the future that everyone professional will be AI native, and AI native means that he has a co-filer and utilizing the agentic AI, and then it the support, and then he's a collaborator, right? And then
Sure.
I think about in the future, Randy, you have your own co-filer that actually the know about you, your expertise very well. And then
Yes.
Jim, you have a
I
co-filer.
appreciate you saying
And
that.
then I mentioned the agent AI collaboration. That's what I'm thinking about. That's in the future that the bio direction innovative AI agent in healthcare, right? So people is just to try to like connect AI agent, right? But each AI agent should be meaningful, right? And then my philosophy is that I want to be like distribute my philosophy that in the future, how actually the best way to use AI is to make your AI co-pilot your friend, right? Friendly AI, right? Doing good thing, and then you are the best person actually the oversight, right? And then other people, right? Other people, so they have own AI agent, and then the technology are enabled to connect each other, right? So not only the personal network by AI agent, but it's about you, right? And then
Correct.
it'll be
Yep.
very, very meaningful connection, right, in the future AI society.
Oh no,
That's why I'm
exactly.
driving.
You're right because they got to keep. You have to keep everyone authentic. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
lose that human authenticity, then
Hmm.
it affects everything down the road, I feel.
Yeah. Jim?
So real quick, I will say, everybody, well, not everybody, but at least you and I have the same funding problem. We always do.
Mhm,
So here's my brilliant innovation, which is I thought, why don't I ask an AI, create an AI agent and just
mhm,
ask him to go out and research Elon Musk and
mhm,
then replicate himself 4 times, and I would have 4 Elon Musk agents working for
mhm,
me to make me
mhm,
rich.
mhm.
And I'm sure they would come up with something creative that I hadn't expected for sure.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Easy way to pay the rent that way.
Yeah, you know, there's one thing that I'm interested in that because recently I have a two contact, and then I'm going to have a call tomorrow. Actually, they are all investor, and they want to developing my agentic AI investment co-filer. So that's a money involved. So what I'm doing is actually the same thing, like having investor mind co-filer agentic AI. So that's my
Yep.
idea. And then I show my demo, and some people, the Field Express, they're interested in collaborate with me, right? So
Yes.
that's all money talk, right? So when I insist like I have a lot of innovation, something like that was well, actually, that I just have a innovation, but also like have some great money, right?
Right.
And then started the people to interest in my innovation, and I'm going to give a talk, and then if somebody actually to sponsor me, then I can continue on this way.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea to start with the people that have the money
Yeah, yeah.
and look at their problems.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so thank you for attending today's webinar.
Thank
It's a
you.
great time to, especially Jim and Randy and other people. So I hopefully John Hopkins adopt my idea, then it will be fantastic course next spring. Right? It's a hand-on. And then I really want to see Jim, you have your own co-filer, and then you
Yep.
share your some expertise, right? And then
Yep.
develop, right? And then Randy, you have your own co-filer, and then I have my own, and then maybe three people connect using like agentic AI communication network, right? What it happened?
Yep.
Oh,
Sounds good.
fantastic, right?
Great. Thank you very much. It's been
Thank
awesome.
you. Take care.
Yep. Take
Bye.
care.
Thank you too, Alex. Bye bye.
Bye
See you
bye.
Thursday.
See you.